here and Happy New Year. Happy 2022. So, today I'm going to do a special little live training for you. It's not really a live training. It's really just a chat, just a chat and kind of tell you guys how I don't do goal setting anymore, nor do I do something that's really popular in the online space, which is the word of the year. And I'll just summarize that and like I like words. I can't settle for just one per year. So I don't. But there's some reasons why I actually don't do the whole goal setting thing. And it's not because I'm a crazy creative, which I am very creative. But it's also that I want to make sure that if I'm going to set my mind to something, then I'm going to follow through and I'm going to enjoy the process. So it doesn't really make sense for the methodical scientist in me to set one goal. It's like setting one experiment for the whole entire year. I just can't do it. And I've tried to in the past and it never works for me. And I'm willing to bet it doesn't work for everybody either. I cannot be the only one out on this ledge screaming that I don't do resolutions or a word of the year. I know I'm not the only one. I've heard people say it before, even though they whisper it, to me behind the scenes, like, I don't do it either. So we're just going to talk about it. So for those of you who are rebels and like to go against the grain, this is for you guys. Happy 2022. By the way, 22 is my favorite number. I am so glad that we're in this year. I've been waiting for it for quite some time. So I'm ecstatic to finally be in 2022 because again, my favorite number is 22. So here's the thing. If you do resolutions, this is not a knock on you. I think that's amazing. I think anything that you guys can do to help set yourself up for success is great. Same thing with word of the year. Not saying it's bad or there's anything wrong with it at all. All I'm saying is that I don't do it. And there's a lot of people that don't, and this is definitely for them. So for those that they feel like they have to have it, and I get it, accountability is awesome. However, you want to do accountability. And here's the other thing, and I think a lot of people know this as well. And in fact, I think resolutions are done by less than half of the population, just from what they said in the recent statistics in the last 2 years. And there's a really great article done by Strava, and it was published in Inc. magazine. So if you guys go into my LinkedIn, or if you're watching this on LinkedIn, then if you go into my article and it was published here on the 3rd, you can see that there's a link to it. So you can go check it out for yourself. But what they found was that 80% of resolutions fall short, and they fall short fast. So they actually fall short by second week of February. That's on average. And so most of them fall short by January 19th. And so they've lovingly nicknamed January 19th Quitter's Day. So nice of them, right? So nice. Quitter's Day on January 19th. So pretty pessimistic, but it's based on 800 million people taking a survey, which I thought was really interesting because normally you want to check those stats and like if it was just 1,000, but this is like 800 million. So if you can go check out that, you can go check out that article. It's pretty cool. I just can't believe they got 800 million people to kind of join on that. That was impressive. So it goes on to talk about how to create healthy habits. That article talks about how to create healthy habits with a new perspective on these habits are what you can create a resolution that sticks off of. So one of them is to set measurable goals, which I like. I like metrics. I like those numbers. I do. I like goals. I do like goals. And what I've seen is that it's actually not just measurable goals, right? We can have measurable goals, but the other thing is that we got to have a couple more things, which the article talks about, which is great. And that is that you actually want to have those measurable goals, but then you also want to think about what habits that you do have that you have formed that have already stuck that you can piggyback off of. And I've heard this before. It's actually a really good experiment. I've tried it. It does work. You are able to create new habits off of old habits. One of them is if you have a habit of drinking more water, which is, or that's the one that you want to stick, or the resolution you want to stick. It's a really good one. So then you piggyback it off of other habits. And one of them is to, you brush your teeth. So brush your teeth. And then go and drink a whole glass of water afterwards. Well, I mean, spit out your toothpaste first, right, guys? So spit out your toothpaste and then drink your water, a whole 8 ounces of water. But that's a piggyback off of something that you've already formed, a habit you probably formed when you were younger. Hopefully it's not just in adult years, because I don't know if you'd have any teeth left if that was the case. And then, so piggybacking off of old habits, that was really good. And then I really liked this part of it that the article said, which was creating, it basically was saying creating easier pathways for success. So kind of being the architect of your environment and just making it really easy to follow through. And they gave a good example of like, if you were to work out and you're trying to work out at 5 in the morning, and that was a habit of you were going to have to get up at 5 in the morning and go and do that, then you want to set up your environment for success the night before. So put out your workout clothes, set your alarm. Those are the kind of things. Make sure that you're setting up your environment so it is conducive to success when it comes to your resolution. So those are really good. Healthy habit forming activities. I liked it. Anything that you can take some action steps on, I thought was great. And when I'm thinking about this a little bit more, I'm like, yes, I agree. And I also have something of my own to piggyback off of, like a healthy habit that is really helpful for business owners. So if you are creating resolutions for your life, great. If you're creating resolutions and a word for your business, here's something that I think would be really helpful. And I think that it's often missed when it comes to the entrepreneurial space and building your business. And it's the 3 C's, right? Not the same ones I've talked about before. These are different ones. Some of them are the same though. Some of them are. So the first one is clarity. So clarity. Second one is consistency. Whew, that's a big one. And the third is celebration. And I'll talk about all 3 of these and why I think these are really important, especially if you're creating resolutions. And even if you're just like me, we're like, I'm not going to create resolutions. Instead, I'm going to focus on the process, and the process is the journey. People call it the journey, the process. And it's all about kind of letting go of that end goal and letting go of outcomes and letting the outcomes that you want happen because you focus on your process, because you focus on your journey and enjoying the journey. So that's why celebration is in there. It's a big one. But it's also the small celebration. So I'll go into it a little more. So yes, those are the ones, and in that order too. So clarity, consistency, celebration. And I'm even guilty of mixing those up from time to time. That whole cart before the horse thing, I've done it. And I know better now. So clarity comes first, because if you're going to set any goals, or if you're going to do any experiments, like we talk about doing digital marketing experiments, then you need a reason why you want to achieve them. So it doesn't matter. Why is it that you want the goal that you want? Or why is it that you want the outcome that you want? Why do you want that resolution? Why is that important to you? And in the past, I get it. And everyone's like, what's your goals for, next year or this coming year? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, this. And then I'd say something. It was more of like, yeah, that'd be nice. I feel like I'm put on the spot. Crap, I was supposed to do goals last week. I forgot. Shows you how I was never going to be able to do them. Anyway, that should be a clear indicator that I'm not a resolution person. So that was kind of a knee-jerk reaction, like, well, everyone expects it, so I guess I better have them. But there wasn't anything to hold me to them. There wasn't any clarity on why do I want these. And sometimes I'll set, and I even do this now. Sometimes I'll set goals and I'm like, I know I want them, but I don't know why I want them. So I need to get clear on why I want these goals and what would it mean to me? What's it going to change for me? How is it going to make my life and the people around me, their lives better? So when I can connect and get clear to that, then I have something more for me to work towards. I have something more for me to step into journey and step into process for. So it means more to me. There's an emotional appeal to that for me when I've gotten clear on why I want it and what it's going to mean to me. So that's the first thing, is like, get really clear on why you want the resolution or why you want the goal or why you want to move towards an outcome. So that's the first thing. So once you do that, then you can choose ways of being consistent. So habits and consistency, yes, they go hand in hand. Consistency is a little bit different. And this is why I like this so much. And yes, it's because I'm a rebel and I'm a creative, but consistency doesn't mean that it has to be rigid. So if I was to set a, I want an outcome of building more muscle. So, working out more. And actually, that is one of the things I'm working towards. I want more muscle. I don't want to be like the Hulk or anything, although that would be pretty funny. I still have this outcome of having more muscle, being more lean. And I know that there's so many different ways to get there. There are so many different ways to get there faster or slower or whatever it is I decide. And for me, it's more important that I'm consistent, and consistent doesn't mean rigid. Consistent doesn't mean that I have to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday at a certain time, because that's going to be really hard for me to achieve with as busy as I am. So instead, I'm going to focus on being consistent every week instead of saying, okay, I'm going to work out Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday every week. I don't know if I can work out Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday every week. I might get sick on Monday. So I'm going to let myself kind of relax on this one and just like, yes, I'm going to be consistent and work out 3 times a week and build and focus on every muscle group every time per week. I can do that. Like it's believable for me at that point. So when it's believable, then I can be consistent with it. And if I let go of exactly how it has to happen and instead say, I'm just going to make sure it happens, and then I can do it. Because here's the other thing, as much as I do like to plan things, I also know that I can't control things, especially when it comes to being a mom, being a business owner, the weather. And of course we are getting colds like crazy this year because the kids are actually back in school. So I mean, people get sick, they get colds, and everybody has to stay home now. There's no going to school or anywhere else if you're sick. So that's the thing with consistency that I like. And then the last one is celebration. And this one, oh my goodness, it's still hard for me. This one is still really tough. And this is that one piece, or I always have to tell myself, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. This is important too. You are important too. What you're doing is important too. So the celebration, the small ones, not just the big ones, the small ones are really important, because here's the thing. Every time you're clear and you're consistent, even with even the most minute win is cause for celebration. And it doesn't mean you have to have a birthday party or it has to be grandiose or anything like that. It just has to be an acknowledgement, like, oh, look what I just did. I'm so proud of myself. Um, so before you know it, when those keep adding up and when you keep saying, wow, that was really good, instead of being hard on yourself, like, oh man, that, or ignoring yourself too and what you've accomplished, you can really appreciate the journey more and how far you've come in such a short amount of time. So I have noticed that when I celebrate even the smallest wins, I'm just like, hi, I got that done. Then I feel good and it motivates me and it keeps me clear. It keeps me consistent with what I'm doing. And there's more and more wins until I look back and I'm like, wow, I have come so far. So celebration is really important. It's often one of the hardest things to do. Believe it or not, it is often one of the hardest things to do. So small steps win every time. You don't need a resolution, and you don't need just one word. If you're not aligned with it, then you don't need it. Don't do it for anybody else. Find something that works for you. If you do, awesome. Resolutions, I know they do work. Some people absolutely can keep them. Words of the years. I mean, I've read so many stories of people who had words of certain years and what they were able to do and how they were able to relate that back to the beginning of their year. And I think that's phenomenal. For those of you that are like, yeah, it's nice, but I kind of like just enjoying my process, then this is for you. This is for you. And I think however you do it, whatever works for you, you're gonna achieve so much when you have a really positive attitude and going out there with a can do attitude. So I hope you guys enjoy. Again, happy 2022. I think it's going to be a really exciting year for everyone. and we have certainly earned it, certainly earned it. So for those of you who are in my groups, in my circles, we've got a really cool challenge coming up. So this is called our 5K in a day challenge. We haven't run it in a couple of years actually, but it's being brought back by popular demand. Like, hey DL, remember those campaigns that you showed me and all these things that you do that help people bring in money really fast? And I'm like, oh, you know what? I should probably bring this out. So we do have one. It is starting next Monday on the 10th. And it's 5 days of live calls with me, but you also are going to get you're going to get some fun worksheets and templates that we send to you. Actually, we're going to put them on our portal and you're going to go download them. And yeah, you guys can sign up and register for it. And I do have a special bonus that is expiring tomorrow where you're actually going to get our sales schedule for the year. So kind of this is how we lay out our sales schedule. And this is how we are able to hit those big numbers. And this is something that we give to everybody. It's really great too if you're just starting to plan out your launches for this year, or if you're beefing up your launches, then this is the stuff that you need to do before those launches and during those launches that will really help and really help you nurture your current following. And it's just a different way of looking at it. So if you guys sign up by tomorrow for the challenge, then you get the bonus, which is our sales schedule, which is pretty cool. So I'll drop the link. I hope you guys can join us and we'll talk soon.